So we're on the wee TEF 20 now, rebuilding the engine. We talked earlier on about the fact that you've got to take the pistons out the bottom, which makes putting the rings on pretty difficult. So how do we look at the book? There's they put the liners over from the top. They've got a special tool that fits round here. They drop the push piston over the top unit, and the way we're going to do it is we've got the bottom ring on. We're going to push the liner. Got to take the liner out. We're going to push the liner over that bottom ring, get the bottom ring engaged, push the liner all the way in. So then the top of the liner is going to come here. Then we can ring the top four, and then push the liner back in again. So that's what we're going to do now. So let's just see how we go. I've got a wee pair of circuit pliers here that I've nice and sharp point. I've bent the tips over so we can compress this bottom ring. It's really a two-man job, this. So that's the bottom ring compressed. We're going to push the liner up now. There you go. Okay, that's this. A wee bit more. It is. Okay, so that's us. We've got the bottom rings in the liner. We've got access to the top four now. So we're just going to turn the engine to 90 degrees, so just so it's easy to work on at the top. Get these the rings on. Okay, so you can buy wee tools for opening these rings out and putting them over the top. I had a set of these. I never had huge amount of success with them. I just lost a wee bit of feeling with them. What I use is a couple of bits of plastic banding that you find around pallets and stuff like that. This is just my way of doing it, if it's the way I'm comfortable. So I just took it over the ends of the rings, spread it, and I can use my thumbs to control the back and pop it in.
Yeah, we were down at the bottom there. That's it.
So that's the first one in. So the first ring was, the gap was here. So this ring now has to come round here. Find it easier just to do it now. The second and third rings are, they've got the marked top and bottom.
That's top.
So just need to make sure they go in the right way in. That's fine. Number two, again, make sure it's in the right position. And the number one ring, it doesn't matter which way it goes in.
Not quite on the top.
That's it. So that's all rings in there now. We're ready just to squeeze them. Load of oil. so it's going to slip down the liner nicely.
Not quite there at the bottom of it, Billy. Did it?
So we've just got to be a wee bit careful that we keep the liner up while we're doing this operation. If it slips too far down, we can lose control of the compressor. And then just tap it in. And that's it. Now, if anybody knows an easier way of doing that, it'd be great if you could let us know in the comments. This is the only way that we, with the tools that we've got available, that we can do it, or we think we can do it. So that's all 4 liners in, pistons in. We've just got to put the top rings in. These 2 top rings are in. Knock these liners down fully, and then put the rings in the top.
That.
That's it. Oh. So what we're doing there, we've got a piece of pipe that we fit in just to stop the pistons dropping out the bottom. If they drop out the bottom, you're going to lose the bottom ring. You're going to have to go through the whole rigmarole again. So just tap these back in place. The other thing to do when you're checking, you're putting your liners in, just make sure the copper ring underneath is in good condition.
That's what I've got in the right way up.
There's a small pin that goes in here and stops these rotating because they're kind of a horseshoe shape. You just got to make sure they're in. Just be quite careful, these are quite brittle. Just tap them home. Again, just watch see where the witness marks are. I believe these are slightly canted, these a little bit, so just make sure they go back in the right direction. Follow your witness marks. Okay, so that's it, back in position. We'll just line everything up, put the small pins back in.
Tap in a wee bit more. Yeah, maybe not.
Okay, so that's us finished on the top end here. What we'll do now is we'll put a bar across here, just to stop the pistons slipping out. We've had that before, not so just bit of learning. Okay, so we'll get that in, and then we'll get the engine turned off and then turned over, and we're into the bottom end. That's the crankshaft built up with the main bearing here, main bearing here. There's another main bearing goes at the end, but that'll slide off on. So now we've got to manoeuvre this back into the crankcase. We've built the main bearings up. We used some assembly fluid, just thick oil really. The thrust bearings are in either side here. Main bearing here all torqued down as per the book. So we're just ready to go and put that back in. So we had a wee, we started to put this crankshaft back in again. The problem is getting this past the ends of the pistons, and we really couldn't sort of manage to juggle it between the two of us. So we had a wee rethink, and we took our strap off the top, and we've pushed the pistons and liners back through this end, just so it makes it easy for us to get this crankshaft in. Once that's home, there's a bolt goes in here to locate it all. So we're just about to do that. So that's the way we got around that problem there. Otherwise, you're going to be fighting with the bottom, the big ends. So that's how we've done this. Okay, so we made a wee mistake here. We've put that centrepiece in that position. That distance there is smaller than that distance there, and this should be round the other way. If you don't have it round the other way, that end cover won't tighten up properly. So the big end, big gap here should be that side. So we'll just take that off and spin it around. Fortunately, didn't take us long to lift it back out, so we're lost a bit of time, but hey ho, that's a learning curve. So that's the bottom ends all built up now. I haven't torqued them up yet. I'll need to go back to that. It's end of the day here now, so we're just going to close up and go for a cup of tea. So yeah, so we've just got the rings to put back in the top. Get it all torqued down, and then move forward.